All right, Shalom. Agsikah Halayim, Wahawadla, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham Rakakwadash, double honest the apostles, and elders of Great Millstone and Ruel. Peace and blessing to the Akimoni will I push this truth to the four corners of the earth. Right, is your brother Yaraba. I said I'll go through a few precepts I'll entitle it Meddle Not and Maintain Thy Innocence. When you come into this truth, after you grow and after a certain period of time pass, you will start to experience things, you will see things, you'll go through certain situations, and sometimes you have to learn, through discernment, certain things to meddle in and certain things not to meddle in. Whether it be when it comes to studying things, when it be in terms of situations in the brotherhood, or even external. Certain things you have to learn not to meddle in. You understand? Every brother level of discernment is not the same. Scripture say discernment is a gift, right? And every brother have a lot more discernment, and some mightn't have so much, right? I'll start with I think it's Ecclesiasticus 11. Ecclesiasticus 11, I'll start from 9, right? It says, strive not in a matter that concerneth thee not, and sit not in judgment with sinners. Now the part where it say in a matter that concern thee not, because like I say, sometimes you'll see certain things, you understand, in the truth, and certain things, yes, certain things might be your level to deal with, and certain things might be your level where it's better to leave it alone. Because judgment is a very funny thing. Judgment is actually a very serious thing. And making judgment is not something for everybody. And it had different levels of judgment also. Right? Like for example, the judgment is for who? It's for the saints, the men, the judges. You understand? That's why you'll see majority of the time when it is women asking women for advice, majority of the times it doesn't work out. Why? Because they don't tell each other to do this and that, and you're supposed to be like this, and sometimes you just have to deal with that because that's just how it is sometimes. You understand? They will tell you, hey, you shouldn't take that. It's not out of time, or some kind of foolishness. But judging is ready for what? Men. That way you'll see whenever it had an issue, they used to take the issue to what? The elders or men who was in authority, and they would deal with it accordingly, because that is their level. That is their responsibility. You understand? And judging a matter does have serious backlashes also if you're not careful. For example, if you're dealing with a matter, or you're judging a matter that don't even concern you, you could be invigilating the person to do something worse than what it should be doing. Because to start with, you don't even know if the person right or wrong, and you might give the person advice and end up making them be more wrong. And then when they had to be held accountable for what they did wrong, you being encouraging them, you might have to be held accountable also. You understand? The Lord might hold you in account for things like that. Because they remember that there's a spiritual walk, and that person could have spirits on them. And the same spirit that causing them to go off, you understand, it could be trying to pull you in also. That's why you had to learn to be very careful, even when judging matters and giving advice about certain things. You had to be very careful, right? You had to be careful in meddling in matters that don't concern you. Like even as a brother, as a brother, if a woman was to be asking me, well, if she was to tell me, well, she don't like this, what she husband be doing, the most I might tell you is, hey, what's going on? That your husband, the law say I don't be your husband. I not going to tell you, get you out the time and don't listen. No. You understand? The law state will be your husband, and try to kill that conversation. You ain't trying to instill no rebellion, or try to do something contrary to the scriptures, or be given opinions based on personal sentiments, or what you find or what you feel shouldn't be done. Certain things like that, you could put yourself in trouble. You have to be real careful when making judgment in the truth, right? I'll read it over. It says, strive not in a matter that concerneth thee not, and sit not in judgment with sinners. Verse 10, it says, my son, meddle not with many matters. right? Meddle not with many matters. It say, for if thou Salakia, for if thou meddle much, thou shalt not be innocent. You understand? You wouldn't be found innocent if you especially been meddling in things that don't concern you. If something is something that if it's something that you're supposed to deal with as a judge, and that is your level, whereas that your responsibility, you'll judge the matter. But sometimes you just have to learn to leave things alone and leave it for those who actually, that is their responsibility. Like sometimes you'll even see brothers just make that same error. Sometimes my brother might do something off, and the next brother will jump, he's a wicked nigga, and then when you realize, and when the person who actually on that level to judge the matter, deal with it, and you realize that it wasn't as bad as you thought, then you end up looking a certain way. You understand why? Because that wasn't your concern to start with. You understand? You should have leave that for those who on that level to deal with that. You understand? So, through discretion, sometimes you just had to learn what not to meddle in. Not everything is for you to stick your finger in, as you say in this go. Sometimes you have to learn to keep your hands to yourself. Right? Say verse 10, it say, my son, meddle not with many matters, for if thou meddle much, thou shalt not be innocent. And if thou follow after, thou shalt not obtain, neither shalt thou escape by fleeing. Like I say, if anything, if you was to make poor judgment on something that don't concern you, and you was to inveigle or encourage something wrong, when that person be punished for it, you could end up being punished for it too. The scriptures say, what? Take no part in another man's sin. Certain things is to let men who on that level deal with it. And that is things that the Lord set up even from the start. And it have them now. It have men on certain levels who, or like, you go have like heads of camps and different men who in charge of hearing matters and dealing with it according to wisdom. Because that is their office, if to put it that way. So Deuteronomy 1:17, right? It says, ye shall not respect persons in judgment, but ye shall hear the small as well as the great, and ye shall not be afraid of the face of man, for the judgment is the Most High, right? I'll start from 15, right? Deuteronomy 1:15. It says, so I took the chief of your tribes, wise men, and known, and made them heads over you, captains over thousands, and captains over hundreds, and captains over 50s, and captains over 10s, and officers among your tribes. And I charged your judges at that time, saying, hear the cause between your brethren, and judge righteously between every man and his brother, and the stranger that is with him. You understand? So it has certain men that is their office. That is what they're supposed to do. If they have an error or something going on, it have men put in place to deal with these things, and they will hear the judgment and make some kind of outcome out through the Spirit, right, to be able to resolve it. Now, if you not being on that level now, go on and chuck your finger in that now, and go on and make it worse. That could be bad for you. You understand? You ain't gonna go and tell somebody to do something that off, because you could have a consequence for it. But sometimes it's better to leave these things for those who of that level, who responsibility that belongs to. Scriptures say what? To whom much is given, of him shall much be required. Because as a judge, if he is not a good judge, you have penalties to pay for that also. You understand? So this is the position of wanting to be a judge and wanting to look like you're so wise and you just give all this. Yes, how to be mindful that it have consequences for these things. So you have to be as wise as possible when dealing with these things, especially when it comes to matters with Jake. Okay, Jake don't always give you a full story. Sometimes Jake could give you a half a story, and you go and meddle and get him advice based on something that's not even true, and further encourage the wickedness. Because a lot of Jakes out there have spirits on them. A lot of Jakes. And the same spirits on them, like I say, could be trying to pull you in. Right? But like I say, it have These things are ordained for certain people. Certain things, through the Spirit, you will know that, you could deal with, and then certain things you had to know. Let me stay away from that, to avoid problems, or to put, to not to make matters worse. Ecclesiasticus 3 verse 23, it says, "Be not curious in unnecessary matters, for more things are shown unto thee than men understand." So, like I say, certain things that is your level, learn to deal with that. Don't look to, let's like how Esdras was, and the angel was telling him, hey, just focus on what you are to focus on. And he's studying all kind of different things that don't even concern him. That wasn't his level. You understand? Sometimes you have to learn to deal with what is your level. Because just like I read before, it talk about, what if thou meddlest, thou shalt not be innocent. And your innocence right now is what you're trying to preserve. You understand? You ain't trying to look like the world's best judge out here, or the world's best prophet. You're trying to do your job and maintain your innocence. You understand? Keep your robes white, so when that time come, you'll be found blameless. That is really what you're focusing on right now. So certain things you're ready to know to abstain from. Not just on the whole, but for your own personal safety. Because we know it has spirits out here that leaded men astray. You don't want them spirits, to pull you into something that you don't want, or that, not expedient for your salvation. Say verse 24, it says, "For many are deceived by their own vain opinions," and majority of the time people giving you advice out here, it has be what? A vain opinion. That's why the scripture they talk about, in the midst of women is much wickedness. Women is only give each other advice based on what? On vain opinions. What they find or how they feel it should be. Nobody cares what anybody finds. The Lord is the one that determines things. And what he said is how it's supposed to go. You understand? And then it have men that placed in certain positions that could be able to make those orders. Like how a man could tell the wife, hey, you can't go nowhere today. I can't watch him like, why you telling she something like that? That is not my business. That is his possession. That is for he to do. That don't concern me. You understand? That parents could tell the children, hey, I don't want you playing outside. You might find to yourself, hey, is a child that should be able, that is not your business. That do concern you. You understand? That do concern you. Certain things you have to understand that, hey, if it's not your business, leave it alone. And as much as the more you grow in your spirit, you get to see these things over and over. Certain things, when it's not your business, just learn to leave it alone. Don't always look to chuck your finger in everything. It says, "For many are deceived by their own vain opinions, and an evil suspicion had overthrown their judgment." All right. I'll read one more precept, I think it is. If I find it, Salakia. Right. I'll read from verse 14. It's a little off topic, but I like that scripture. I like that verse also, right? 1 Peter 4, I'll start from 14. It says, "If ye be reproached for the name of Mashiach, happy are ye, for the spirit of glory and of power rested upon you." Right? We actually have very big responsibilities in this truth. It's not just about just following laws and these things. You have to have faith, and you have a certain image to maintain, a blameless image. Right? It say, "On their part, he is evil spoken of, but on your part, he is glorified." Right? Say verse 15, it say, "But let none of you suffer as a murderer, or as a thief, or as a evildoer, or as a busybody in other men's matters. You understand? So the scriptures, and there are many scriptures that support things like that. You understand? You just have to be wise when dealing with other matters, especially matters that don't concern you. Even if somebody might come and ask you about it, sometimes through the spirit, you just have to know, hey, I don't really want to get in between that. You understand? That will concern me. Sometimes it's better to do that than to meddle and make things worse, and then you be a promoter of wickedness. You understand? Because sometimes especially if you're not learned, or you're not good at making judgment according to the spirit, you could end up encouraging something abominable or something wicked. And the scriptures talk about that in Proverbs. It say I think like Proverbs 17:15. It say, he that justified the wicked. So if somebody actually wrong and you justifying them based on wrong judgment, and he that condemneth the just. You understand? Like if I was to go and tell a man, hey, you shouldn't tell your wife that, you shouldn't tell your child that's none of my business. That is his possessions. He could do that. You understand? You know, like he telling them to eat pork or to do some kind of thing against the scriptures, that within his rights as being over them. You understand? That come like I condemning the just. I want to tell he that he wrong for doing something that within his rights. It say, he that justified the wicked and he that condemneth the just, it say, even they both are abomination to the Lord. You understand? So I hope it was edifying. You know, all these things, he has already had to be wise and use discernment and discretion on certain things, because, like I say, you don't want to meddle in something that don't concern you. Because you're thinking to yourself that, you know, you're a real good judge. No, certain things is actually to keep your nose out of and just mind your business. I hope it was edifying. With that, I say shalom. Akim, stay strong.